Okay, it looks like we're live. Let me see if it's coming up. Hello, everybody, and happy Tuesday. Welcome to Lettering at Lunch. If you are here and you're watching, I would love it if you would just give me a thumbs up. Tell me where you're watching from. Um, have you had lunch yet? I'm trying to pull it up. Okay, I see it on my phone. So we're on. Let me get this. It takes just a second because there's such a delay, but welcome. Thank y'all for being here. I have some exciting stuff for us today that I cannot wait to tell you about. I'm just waiting to see if we've got comments coming in. I'm waiting for it to come up on my phone so I can check for comments. Okay, so I see them now. Hey, Cindy. Hey, Deborah and Connie. People coming in. Awesome. This means that we're live. I always have a little bit of a fear that it's not going to be, the sound's not working or something like that. So I'm glad that y'all are here. Deborah's been cleaning our porch. I need to do that. Cindy, are you having a good day? It's good to see you. Hey, Leslie. Glad to see you're here. So this is Tuesday, and on Tuesday we usually do lettering, and I usually show you some things from church journal, and we just do a little bit of lettering. So today I want to do something special and talk about lettering and talk about scripture journaling and talk about how we can use it as a tool in our lives. Hey, Jan, I'm glad to see you here. So our creativity in general, it's all a gift, and it's been given to us by the Creator, God Himself. He created everything. He created us in His image, and I just believe with all my heart that He has given each one of us that gift of creativity. Some of you might disagree with me and say, well, I can't even draw a straight line. That doesn't matter. I can't draw a straight line either, believe it or not. I can't draw a straight line, but I'm still creative. There's so many ways that you can use that creativity, and it might look different. It's going to look different from me and yours and the person next to you, because we put our own unique personality and thumbprint into it, but you still have it. So quite a few ladies, if we were to kind of, you know how when you go to a party, they'll say a number, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All the ones go over here, all the twos go over here, all the threes go over here. So let's just say that all the ones are the people who say, well, I'm not creative. I don't have a creative bone in my body. And then you say number 2, those are the people that just haven't used their creativity in a while, and maybe it's got some dust piled up on it and just needs a little bit of help and encouragement to blow that dust off and start using it. The number 3 group is those ladies who are like, oh my goodness, I can do this. I have been able to paint or draw or put together an arrangement, or even something as simple as this. Putting together a little arrangement. I stuck some blueberries in there. I thought that would be fun. Cooking a meal, arranging your home, arranging furniture. There's so many ways that you can use creativity. So those are the ones in the threes, and they're like, just show me what else I can do with it. Just show me. So no matter which group you're in the ones, the twos, or the threes, your creativity can be a blessing. And I just want to encourage you to keep investigating it, keep asking the Lord to teach you about it, ask the Lord to open your eyes to see ways to use it, and He will. He will. And He will even allow you to use it as a tool to help you spiritually, to use it as a tool to help your mind, to renew your mind, to refresh your heart. And when you start doing that for yourself, then the next thing you know, you're helping other people and you're making things for other people to encourage them, or you're making things and you're sharing it with them. There's so many ways to use it to help somebody else. A lot of the ladies will make things for their Bible study group or for a retreat group, or there's just so many ways. Then once that cycle gets started, you're giving God glory because you're recognizing that gift that He's given you and you're offering it back to Him by serving others, by serving Him, by helping yourself, and He's glorified. So I just wanted to preface today with that because we just finished up a very special week last week. It was the first time I've ever done a journaling week where just set aside the time to just focus in on journaling and lettering, but a lot of time on taking something old, like an old sewing pattern, and just, I don't know where mine's at, the one of those little school composition books, and we transformed it into a journal. And it's not just any journal, it's a journal to help us be a record keeper, not a record keeper in a negative way of like you're keeping a record of everything anybody has ever done to offend you. No, not like that at all. We become a record keeper. We're using this to document the goodness and grace of God in our life. And we've used our creativity to do that. We've incorporated sewing patterns. We've incorporated scrapbook paper. We use the first part of it to make it for dedicated to prayer. So we're using the acronym ACTS, adoration. So this little section here will be a dedicated space to just list all of those things, who God is. And there they are. They fell out. I was showing this to somebody before I had it. I had not put my glue on there. So all my little tags fell out, but I had all of these little tags because it helps us renew our mind and settle us to just read this, but also to even say it out loud. So, like if you were just unsettled, you could sit down and just read and remind yourself, He is sovereign. He is sovereign, whether you're reading it or you're writing it. He is faithful. He is faithful. He is forgiving. He is merciful. He is all knowing. He is all powerful. He is, what's this one? Omnipresent. He's always present. Nothing takes Him by surprise. He is creator. He is all I need. And there's so many more. There's so many more. But when you sit down and you start thinking about who He is, it gets your mind off of all of the craziness that's going around you. And it gets you refocused and redirected on truth and who He is. That's what that little section is for. Then we have this little section, the C. It stands for confess. And it's just a prompt to help us remember to not carry around all that baggage. You know, He knows it's in there. He knows what we've done. He knows what we've thought. He knows what we said. He knows what we wanted to say, but didn't. He knows all of that. So by confessing it to Him, we're unloading it out of that backpack and confessing it and agreeing with Him that it's sin. And then, and my friend Amanda was a good reminder with this. So I drew the U-turn to represent repenting and turning from that. Don't, kind of like the cookie jar. Oh, I'm sorry I took that cookie all while your other hand's getting one more out. It's agreeing with Him and it's wrong, and you're making a U-turn. And then you get to accept that forgiveness that He's already given you and ask Him to create in you a clean heart. I need to run to Jesus and His transforming grace. This is the divider for thanks. It's a prompt to remind me to give thanks. It's not just a Thanksgiving word. It's every day. We've all been blessed with so much, and sometimes it's easy to zero in on the things that we don't have, or the things that are not working, or the things that we wish we didn't have. And the way to get out of that rut is by thanking him for the things we do have, for the things that do work. So that's a prompt page for that. Thank you for your amazing grace. And I'll be working in this, filling in these pages. The S stands for supplication, and that's where we're asking God for the things that we need. And this is so sweet because by the time you walk through these and you get to this, it's just such a precious feeling. It helps you get things back in priority. Whereas if I started with this, it might be a mile long of things I just want, but when it's here, it's more genuine and sincere. And then want to encourage to date each of these so that, because he does hear and he does answer, then we can go back and we can do our Thanksgiving on the things that he did answer. Then this second part is so special because this is where we're documenting our transformation. And what I did is I created, I don't remember how many of them, but there's traceables, which are scripture verses that I've written out, and the ladies can trace them or just print them out and put them in their journal. But we used old book pages, and we created art on those book pages to document that the old has passed away. Behold, the new has come. I've been redeemed, to document that. And if we can make this so personal, if you know your salvation date, you could even put it on there. It was such a blessing to see all the work that these ladies created this week. This is documenting freedom. It was for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm. Using old book pages again. This one, another butterfly, and using a hymn page. We all had different hymn pages in our kit, so we all have something different. And my hymn page was abide with me. And that's a word that's been the Lord's really been drawing me to lately. And I thought it was so sweet that that's the one that I had. So I called my butterfly the abiding butterfly and just used it to thank him for abiding with me. He didn't have to do that, but he did. And then this one is the one to represent a new heart. He's given us a new heart. And this is an example of last Tuesday. And if you missed it last Tuesday, I want to encourage you to scroll back up and find the Facebook Live from last Tuesday, June the 11th. This is where I was journaling from my devotion book, The New Morning Mercies. And it was a powerful devotion that day. It was something I really needed. And I made notes about it. I journaled it in my big notebook that I usually use on Tuesdays. But I wanted to document it. So I'm thinking of this as I'm documenting stuff in here. I'm making a record of this. I don't want to forget this. I want to remember this. So this is like a document, a spiritual document. And so I did the two sides of the heart, painted it in. And here's an example from the devotion. It was Paul David Tripp was reminding us, I was created to worship God, the Creator, not worship creation. I was created to be a servant of God, not lover of self. I was designed to live for God's glory, not make life all about me. Unless things change in my heart, my behavior will not change. It's a heart issue. It's a heart issue. And I wanted to document that. So that's what that page is for. And then this is just some old book pages. And I noticed that they had months on there. This is I love old books. So that's what we put in the kits is old book pages. This is a gardening encyclopedia. So this page is for January. No, that one's October. This one's January. So my grandson and my daughter, my oldest daughter, were both born in January. So somewhere on here, I'm probably going to create a prayer for each of them on this page. I was born in October. So now I'm going to be looking for anything that's dated July and March for my husband and my daughter. And, I'm just customizing it, personalizing it for me and my family. And then the last one that I wanted to show you is transformation. Because when I found these old sewing patterns at an estate sale, I was so drawn to them. And I just kept standing over them like, oh, Lord, what do you want me to do with these? I think I'm supposed to do something with these. I don't know what to do with these. And I only bought a few of them that first day. I went home and woke up in the middle of the night, y'all, thinking about these sewing patterns and this word, transformation, and the butterfly. And I knew that I was supposed to get those patterns. So I went back the next day and I bought all of them that they had. And I knew that I was supposed to make something with those patterns and using the word transformation. And that is how this project all started. So I want to tell you just my brief, I want to tell you something briefly about it. And then I've got a couple of guests. I want you to meet a couple of my friends. I had a couple of them on Friday and Monday. So look for yesterday's, that was Monday, wasn't it? Meet a few of them from yesterday and then from Friday. I want you to hear how God has used creativity in their lives. The purpose in doing this today, one is this is our normal day to use the noon hour to talk about creativity and talk about lettering. The other thing that I want to make sure to do is I want you to meet somebody else other than me who's been impacted by God's word paired with creativity and putting it together, combining it together. I want you to hear from somebody else other than me. But I also want to let you know that just to encourage you, and it's hard to talk about it without tears because He is all knowing, just like we said. He is the creator, just like we said. He is the source of the gift. And so when He prompts you to do something, even if you don't know all the steps, and you're not going to know all the steps, if you knew all the steps, then you wouldn't be dependent on Him. But if you'll take the step of obedience, things just start falling into place, y'all. Just take the step of obedience and He will meet you there. He will meet you there. And that's what happened with this. And I honestly feel like we had a little mini revival, on our little Zooms each night and in the classes. And He gets the glory for all of that because it was Him. It was Him. So I just want to take a moment and say, hey, to the ones that are letting me know they're watching, Amanda and Linda and Lynn, Jan, Leslie, y'all, I want y'all to meet. I was supposed to have Karen, and I think we had a little bit of trouble getting her on here. I'm not really sure, but we may try and get her a different time. Hey, Susan, I'm glad y'all are here. So I want you to meet a couple of these friends, and they are here to help me tell you about how you can use your creativity. Let's see if we can do it like this. I'm trying to get it back the way I had it. Here we go.
Here, I can't see.
How God has used their creativity in their life. Hey, Karen and Diane. We're going to figure this out, Karen. Karen was supposed to be here too, and we've got some sort of issue. I'm not sure what it is. All right, so I'm going to introduce them one at a time. So, Sue, let me go with you first because you have a funny story with your name. And then we'll go to Sherry. So, Sue is such a precious woman. She is the grandmother who's active with her children and grandchildren and very creative and such a kind and encouraging person. She's in our Creative Heart Studio group in our family. So I wanted to introduce you to Sue and let Sue just tell you a little bit about herself and whatever you want to say, Sue. I told them we don't have to be nervous about this. We're just chatting at lunch. Okay. So are you there, Sue? Can you hear me? There she is.
I can't see, I can't hear, and I can't hear. I can't.
Oh,
Can
you
I
can't
leave and
hear?
come back?
You go ahead. Let's see. You can't hear me at all?
I'm going to try to leave and come back.
Okay, that sounds good. I can hear you. Well, Sherry, do you want to start while we're waiting for Sue?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. I've always loved crafting, and it's been a part of my life. Crochet was a big part of it most of my life, and then I did some diamond art painting, and it's not painting, but it's little diamond crystals that you put like a paint by number. You put it in place, and
Yeah.
it creates a real pretty picture. So, um, I've made home decor, different things. Last summer, my house exploded in beach theme home decor. Anyway, but it was around the first of this year when you had it's what was it called? It was winter open house. It was a
Okay. Yes.
3 day session.
Yes.
That's when I first found you, and
Okay.
you started. You showed us how to paint on a little card, and we painted flowers, watercolor flowers, and put lettered the word hope. And I was stunned that mine even looked decent. I was like, wait, I can do this. I've never painted. So I was like, oh my gosh. So it interested me, and soon I got your lettering starter kit. I purchased or got into your encouragement club, so that each month now I get your encouragement box, and it has 3 or 4 of your littles pictures of your beautiful paintings, and I get to pass those forward to some friends of mine to encourage those
Good.
encourage them each month. And I love that. That's meant a lot to me. But do you want me to? You want Sue to go, or do you want me to keep?
Oh,
Keep
Sue,
going.
can you hear okay now?
Yes, I can. Go
Okay. So
ahead. Go ahead, Sherry.
okay. So tell us, Sherry.
What the project?
Well, Sue, go ahead and give your introduction of. So basically, Sherry has told us how she kind of got started. You go ahead and do your part, and then I'll start asking y'all some questions.
Okay. Well, I started, first of all, God helped me find you. And my favorite time of the year is Easter. And I must have seen it on Facebook, and I went ahead and started right then. And then as I did that cross, I realized that you were feeding my soul. So I went ahead and joined. And it wasn't long, like Sherry, I did the encouragement club. And I've used that to help me just, I don't know how to quite word it, but I went 30 years without a church family. And finally, when I started Creative Hearts, I finally found a church.
Oh,
So it's been beautiful. And I'm getting all emotional, but it's just meant a lot to me. And I love my Creative Heart family. I considered all my ladies, all your ladies, our ladies,
they're
my
ours. Yeah.
friends. They're my friends.
Yeah.
And it's such a comfortable place to be in because not everybody thinks like we do,
Yeah.
and it's God.
Yeah.
That's why we love it so.
Yeah.
And we just feed off of one another. And so that's what it means to me. And I started my art when I was a child.
Mm.
And my mom and dad would get me pencils and pens, and I would sit in front of Walt Disney every Sunday night and draw like crazy, all those cartoons. And then when I grew up, I decided I would be an art teacher, and I've been an art teacher for almost 40 years. I retired in 2020, and I just, if anybody's struggling with drawing, I can tell you the secret. Turn the picture upside down and draw it upside down. And when you're done drawing, flip them both over and you will have done a drawing.
That's good
You're
advice.
trying to teach your right side of your brain to do something different.
Yeah.
And same thing with lettering. Turn your lettering upside down and draw it. I taught my high school kids how to forge signatures. But before I taught them, I said, how many of you have signed somebody's name before for them? And all their hands went up.
Yeah.
And then I said, how many of you forge your parents' signatures? Half their hands went up. Then how many of you got permission to forge your parents' signature with permission? All their hands went up. So parents aren't always there, and they need forms signed.
Yeah.
You know, now we do that electronically, but
Yeah.
anyway,
I love that.
that's how you draw.
I didn't know that about you. I don't call you honey for nothing.
Listen, I love teaching. I loved high school. I had teaching college on my bucket list, and I liked it until they made me teach art appreciation, which they didn't appreciate, so I was out.
Yeah.
You know, but art is, every one of us, like you say, is blessed with a creative talent.
Yeah.
We all have it.
And thank you for backing that up, because and you probably saw that as an art teacher with students, of that, watching the joy as they uncovered their creativity and realized, just like Sherry was saying, oh my goodness, I can't believe I just did that.
Yes.
Yeah. I love it.
I love watching them flourish.
And I think that's a great word. So let me ask you both this, and for anybody watching, if you have questions, put them in the comments. I'm being a little interviewer today, and I love this role. So if you have questions for Sue or Sherry or me, put them in the comments, and we'll see if we can answer them. So Sherry, let me ask you this, and then I'll come back to you, Sue, and ask, for the butterfly workshop, what was your favorite part about the workshop? And first of all, I'm not asking for pats on the back for me, because this was the Lord's project. So what was your favorite part, if you had a favorite, or you can name some of your favorites?
That is a broad question.
Yeah.
The whole thing
Yeah.
is my answer. This project meant so much. If I can just do it this way, it meant so much to me, because I've journaled for years, for many, many years. I've journaled, especially times in my life where I saw God's hand in a powerful way. I wanted to document it and remember it. And I just drew blank. But I've never had anything other than places I go. I buy souvenirs to remember. Yeah. But I've never had anything tangible. And with this journal that you guided us through to create, I had a hand in getting to create it, and which blessed me. But it's something tangible, kind of like the Saturday before we started. I was sitting in my room and trying to think, getting some stuff gathered and thinking about it. We were about to start the project, and God started bringing thoughts to my mind. We'll get pictures, because we make those dividers, the ACTS dividers, And he was like, pictures of places that were significant where I saw him show himself to me in a powerful way, and use those as dividers. And that way I could remember and write down things like I have in my journal, but this is different because it's very creative. And also what he brought to my mind, I thought about Joshua when they crossed the Jordan. God told Joshua to build an altar, a memorial, to remember how he had delivered them.
Yes.
And he set up 12 stones, one for each tribe. And to me, that is what this journal represents. It's my tangible reminder, my memorial. And what a gift.
I love that.
It was a gift I could not have known how to create without your guidance. And what a blessing. It was an absolute joy every minute of it. And I want to go back to it, and I'm still adding to it. And just thank you from the bottom of my heart.
I hope we will all fill them up and start another one, because there's so much potential in there. And I like how you described it as it's like a souvenir. It's a tangible reminder. I love that. So do you have your journal with you?
Yes.
I didn't ask this in advance, but if you have a special page that you want to show, you're welcome to do that. You don't have to, but
this morning I added my zipper to the back.
Good. Love it.
And then I stuck the transformation butterfly in there.
I love it.
Washi tape that kind of matched it. I don't know if you can see it.
I can. Yeah.
Anyway, but
and for someone who's never painted before, Sherry, you've done an excellent job. You really have.
Well, thank you. I just enjoy creating it. I love it all. And then I haven't added much to this. Here's my old fabric. And I haven't added much, but this is the Garden of Gethsemane. It was a very special place in Israel that I was blessed to get to go to, and I felt God's presence there. And I haven't added anything else yet to it, but I will.
Let me say this, y'all. Sherry had some pictures. Do you want to take a moment and tell them about those pictures? Because everybody did this in their own way, and so Sherry had pictures of different places that she had visited, and so she incorporated that into her journal.
Yeah, like the Garden Tomb. That was a very special place, and I will write the significance. And this doesn't seem like it's in along with it, but it's a different story at a different place. Yeah. But this picture here is a library in the Biltmore Estate in North Carolina, and this is also in the Biltmore, North Carolina. Let me tell you, North Carolina, that trip, he knocked me off my feet. I would cry if I started trying to tell you about it, because it was so special to me. Because I went by myself, and almost the night before didn't even go, and I didn't mean to go into this, but I went saying, okay, Lord, I'm in your hands. And then, because to drive somewhere in a place I don't know, I'm scared. I'm terrible with directions. Got in the airport, I got my rental car, and I sat there in the parking lot. I was like, okay, my first place is Billy Graham, museum. Oh, 5 minutes. Thank you, Lord. Sweet. And everything, my hotel, the place I was going to a conference, it was like so short a distance. I couldn't get lost. And God did that. And I could go on. There's so many wonderful stories about that. But that's why this is it's powerful to me.
I love it. I love your excitement and your joy that's from the Lord is very encouraging to me. It blesses me just to watch you. Look what I did. I can't believe I did this. I love it because we know who the source is. And I think that's what makes it so special.
Yeah.
So special. Well, Sue, do you have anything that you want to share about yours that was special to you or favorite or any part?
Yes. Well, to me, the most special part was listening to you, God talking to you, and you expressing what he was saying to us. Just I could watch it was like just a beautiful sermon. And I just really got as much out of your words as I did out of your creativity. Um, I, like you, have never scrapbooked, and I think it's scary because I'm afraid I'm going to make a mistake. But it's like you said, mistakes are good. And I used to tell my students all the time, "Hey, you made a mistake. Make it the best part of your work."
That's
And
good.
I need to look in the mirror sometimes and say those things to myself. And just the encouragement, the love of God coming through your voice, in your sweet, sweet voice, was really very meaningful to me. I got as much out of that, maybe more than actually doing. Now, when it came to doing the journal, I find myself really taking my time and selecting things that are really relevant and important that I want in this before I start putting my own stuff in.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I really, I've enjoyed this because when I think of my mother when I see a butterfly,
Mm,
and I think of certain birds when I see my dad.
mm.
And so this has just been very meaningful. And I don't know what pages are my favorite because with your guidance, they've all been beautiful. This
I
one's
love that one.
one of my favorites. And then I really love this particular one with the butterfly and the S, and I shaped the S like the body of the butterfly.
That's beautiful.
And I really had fun with transformation, and it's not done yet, but it's it's very much like yours.
You did a
I
great
can't,
job.
and it's just fun.
Yeah.
And
I love the way you did the antenna. Is that is that thread?
that's a like an embroidery thread that
Look
had
there.
little fairy things on it, and I just found it
I
in my.
love it.
I will admit that I have spent some serious money doing this because it was important to me. I love this one too,
That's beautiful.
and
That look, you did a great job.
and I used one of your little roses that you taught us to do.
Yeah.
And this is tissue paper that I've saved forever. I can't even remember who gave it to me. And it's like fabric. It's beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to use stuff I never thought I would.
And I did the same thing, y'all. I had so many different things that I've been saving because I loved it, but I wouldn't use it. And so I've been putting them into this journal to use
This
it.
is a doily. Can y'all see that?
Oh,
This
Yes.
is a doily,
That's
and I
beautiful.
sponge painted it.
Hmm.
that
And
made it
this-
stiff, didn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Pretty.
And it's just around a hem. And I bought a Cokesbury hymnal, an old one, and I'm not tearing it up. I'm just making copies on,
Yep.
The right kind of paper.
That's
So
good.
saving
What-
it.
What paper did you use, Sue, for those people watching that want to do the same?
I use cardstock. I bought some pretty brown, light brown cardstock because it's
That's
easy on
pretty.
the eye.
Yeah, I love that. I like using the off-white because what
Yeah.
we send in the kits is the actual page just because
Yeah.
I don't need to make copies and sell it, but y'all can definitely do that. And
Well,
that's
the
a great
trans-
idea.
Yeah, the transformation page, this one is good on white.
Yeah.
Anytime you're using watercolor, white paper's good,
Yeah.
But I've really enjoyed this. It's just been so much fun. It's meant a lot to me, and I can't wait to finish it.
Well, we've got a couple of questions here. Let me read the question and y'all can
Okay.
help answer them. So Lisa is saying that she's brand new to the group. Welcome, Lisa. She said, I have no experience whatsoever with art. I'm struggling to finish my butterfly project. All of the posts are so beautiful. I just stare at blank paper, intimidated to paint. how do I start? Who wants to answer that?
Sherry, do you want to answer it?
I just say try, because
You were probably at a similar place, weren't you, earlier this year?
I never knew I had any creativity in painting at all. And even now, when she brings out a new project each month, I am nervous. Like, for instance, we just did the pot, and I did this yesterday, and I spent hours with it and frustrated. I finally walked away at the end of the day. I was like, I'm still not sure I'm satisfied. I thought, well, I can either try
It's
another
pretty.
one. I
It
can
is pretty.
Thanks. I thought I'll do another pot, or I'll come back and add some on top. I don't know, but I am almost paralyzed to. Dogs, and I made noise. My dogs are going to start barking. To even start a project that I just throw myself into to start watching your videos, and I just start doing it with you, and then before long, and I always pray, Holy Spirit, please help me, because I can't create this on my own. And a lot of times things will turn out, and I'm like, well, thank you, Holy Spirit. I couldn't have done that.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So he's always surprising me.
Yeah. That's good. And so it's just start. And usually we fear starting because we don't want to mess up. But the good thing with art is, and I love what you said, Sue, to your students about a mistake. What did you say?
You make the mistake the best part of your art. And a blank page is always going to be intimidating.
Yeah.
So don't start with white.
Yeah.
Start with a color, and then make it like a squiggle on there, and then go from there and turn it every direction you want to, and just take a deep breath and relax and let your hands move. Don't think about it. Just go.
That's good. I love that. Relax and let your hands. And one thing that you could do also in it, because Sue is so right about the white blank canvas, start on a piece of paper or a piece of watercolor paper, because even I will sometimes get intimidated by a blank canvas because I paid money for that and I don't want to mess it up. But it's just paint. We can paint over it. But sometimes it's easier to start with paper. So you could buy a pad of watercolor paper or mixed media paper and just work out of that. It's just paper. And especially with these projects, you can always cover it up with some Mod Podge and book pages, if you feel like it's not fixable, but just start. Just start.
And another thing I always told my students is there's two sides to a piece of paper. If you don't like that, what you did, flip it over and start again.
I love it. I love it. And just to enjoy the process. And then Susan asked right after that, she says, I'm new too. I'm going to color and cut out the papers. My life is crazy right now, so look for what you can do. That's excellent advice. And that's why I send those traceables. Everybody is at a different place in their journey. And just like what Jan is saying up under there, she's in a very hectic season of her life. And so if that's where you're at, those pads, I don't know if I have one handy. If you have a Five Below store, you can buy a pad of this watercolor paper for $5. It's a thick pad, and just paint in it or draw in it or color in it. And you could get the larger book, print out the traceables that's in your workbook, print them out and color it with the markers. You could color it with crayons. You could do watercolor paint. But I think it's excellent advice to just start, and you can start with the traceables. And I think it was Diane gave a good example. She said, start, copy and Pam, and go from there. And I think that's excellent advice. Just follow what I've got. It doesn't have to look like mine. I want it to look different. I want it to look like you. If you noticed in the Facebook group, a lot of the people there was so many variations to that one drawing. Like I used certain colors, but a lot of them use different colors, and I love that. So whatever your favorite colors are, you can use your favorite colors. They don't have to be the same colors that I did. Or if you want your butterfly at an angle, that's okay. Do that. But if that's intimidating, then just start with those traceables and markers and just start. And just remember, you can always cover it up. The joy comes from the process. The cherry on top is whenever, like Sherry experienced, as she did those paintings for the first time. She's like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I did that. That's the cherry on top. The joy comes in just taking a step. And I think y'all will see that, especially if you're new, that this is so much like life. There's things in life that happen. We did this in our group, like raise your hand if your life has turned out the way you expected. Nobody could raise their hand because it's not going to turn out the way you expected. That's not how this world, because we're in a broken, fallen world. So art can be a form of therapy and working through some of those things, and how art goes through this awkward puberty looking stage, where like the pimples and the ears are too big and all of that kind of stuff. And it just keeps being patient with it and keep working it. And then it just turns into the beautiful butterfly. But just give it a chance. Do y'all have anything you want to follow up with that?
That's absolutely true. Every word of what you just said.
Leslie said, is the Moo eraser the one you use to erase the lines after copying the traceables with graphite paper? Or do you use another type of eraser? That's a good question, Leslie. I'm drawing a blank on what is it that you can use to erase graphite. The Moo,
it's a kneaded eraser.
Kneaded eraser. That is KN.
It's gray.
Yeah. It's the ones you can kind of.
It's like silly putty.
Yes, that's the word. The Moo eraser is really good, and people are having a hard time finding them, but it's a white eraser, and it's wonderful on watercolor paper. It's really good for erasing pencil without smearing it. The graphite paper, the graphite, when you trace it, it's meant to be more not permanent, but you need something a little bit stronger to erase it. And yes,
graphite is looser, and so it's harder to keep it tamed.
Yeah. Thank you because I was drawing a blank on the name of the eraser.
But I wouldn't worry too much about lines, because lines show the work.
Yeah.
And lines can look good too, because even in one of your things that you drew the lines like a sewing pattern around.
Yes.
So lines are cool to keep.
I like that. And it makes it, because we want it to look handmade. We don't want it to be computer generated. There's so many things that are computer generated. It makes it so special because somebody's hands actually made this, somebody's hands wrote. So it just makes it more unique and special. And think of those lines as your fingerprint, as part of your fingerprint, your unique fingerprint. Does anybody else have questions? Is there, and we won't stay on, I just do want to ask this part just to give the Creative Hearts just a little bit of a shout out. Is there anything about the Creative Hearts that you would want to say, either one of you, as far as for people who might not understand what we do or what it's about, if y'all want to share that in these last few minutes?
Well, I think that once you start doing creative things with Pam, it's easy to hang in there and do the next one. And if it's a special one and it's not the right season for you to do it, or it's something that you don't really want to do, skip that one and work on one that you've already started, and or be
Yes.
patient and wait on the next one, because um like
Yes.
me, sometimes I never finish, because this is I did the flag one and it's not finished yet. And I'm hoping that Pam posts her flag
Yeah.
project again so
Yeah,
I can
we'll do
see
that.
it and do my own thing. And I didn't use the size she did. I bought some canvases and did what I wanted, you know. And this is another one, I don't even know what the project was, but I had a blast putting all that paper on there. It was
And it looks
fun.
great.
And then, sometimes it's just good to do something loose and just start throwing color on a canvas, and then play with it. And y'all see the butterflies? They're there.
Yeah.
I did this before the butterfly workshop. I must have had God telling me we were going to do butterflies. So, I mean, just stay in there with Creative Hearts, because it's going to feed you in more ways than one, more than just your creativity, but it's going to feed you with the Holy Spirit.
Thank you, Sue. That's good advice too, about because we have two modules. There's the mixed media painting, and then it's like a school where there's a wing of the school that might be the elementary school, a different wing is the junior high, another wing's the high school. We have a wing that's for the lettering and scripture journaling, and then there's a wing for the mixed media painting, and then we have a wing that's just the workshops, the one-time projects. And so you get access to the lettering and scripture journaling wing and the mixed media, all of the projects. So some people are like, yay, and then just dig right in, and others feel intimidated. They don't know where to start. So I love that advice, because I try and do a variety of projects, because it's not like we did the vintage ladies, and some people really love that, and then others that wasn't really their thing, and that's okay. There's years of projects in there just to dig around, and lots of scripture verses, and we use Searchy, so you're able to do a search, and if you're looking for a special verse, put it in the search and it'll pull up whatever we have with that verse, or the word if you're looking for the new eraser or whatever, and you can get the transcripts that way as well.
I had no idea you could do that.
Yes, I need to go back over that again with everybody,
Yes,
because that's
please.
why we use that platform.
I love it, but
Yeah.
I don't know how to use it.
Well, we'll talk about it tonight in our
Okay.
Zoom. And if you can't make the Zoom tonight for any of the members, we always do a replay. Sherry, is there anything that you want to say about Creative Hearts before we have to close out? And Diane's got a question about what can you put gold flakes on with?
It's a kit, isn't it?
It is, and it's something sticky that you have to put down first.
Usually if you get the kit, it has everything you need in it.
Yeah. All right, Sherry. Well, I'm thinking I'll try to remember that what it is. But Sherry, what would you like to say as we close?
Just that I spend a lot of time in the hub. I love the hub because there are different projects, and I just scroll through and I find something I'm going to try. And creating is rewarding.
Yeah.
It's a blessing, and your ministry is what this is. It has been a blessing to me, and like Sue said in the beginning, that when she found you, it was God. It definitely was. I didn't even think to say that in the beginning. I was on January 1st, someone very special to me died.
Oh.
And I spent a lot of time in the Word with that. We did Bible study together and stuff. And I had been praying for a few days. I was like, Lord, what am I going to do with that time? And that's when I found you.
And I do believe He allows our paths to cross. I know He's
Absolutely.
I do believe He has done that. And I'm so thankful for each one of y'all. I really am, because y'all encourage me. You really do, more than you would realize. And we're doing I'm calling it the butterfly bonus, but we are taking new members. If you're watching us and you've not joined, we want to invite you to join. And when you join tonight, I think it's tonight at midnight, we'll add one of those courses to your hub. It's the brushes and brush strokes. It's just a good starter place. A lot of people feel intimidated by brushes and don't know where to start. So I designed that course for those people. So
it's been very helpful
to you. It's been helpful to you.
Helpful to me. Yes.
Brushes are my vice.
Yeah. And
I
for
love
most
them.
people, yeah. Well, I just want to thank both of you for being here and all the others who have already come on with me, because ultimately we would just want to point people to the Lord and what he can do through your hands, through your creativity, and the friendships that you can develop with other people who are also using their creativity and who also want to grow closer to God and to his word. So it's just such a sweet, sweet combination of those things. So thank you both.
Thank you.
All right. So thank you for anybody that's watching now and maybe will be watching on the replay. I hope that you've heard something, some little something that is going to give you encouragement today. And even if you don't join us, I just want to encourage you to use that creativity. Step in and just take a chance and use it. Just use it. Thank you, Deborah. We appreciate you being here. We do. And I'll check back later for questions if anybody has any questions. And I've got the link to join the Creative Heart Studio today. It's in the description of this Facebook Live. So I'm asking you to prayerfully consider and come on into our party and let's get started creating together.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank
Well,
you.
y'all go have a good rest of Tuesday and look forward to seeing y'all soon. And if you're a member, I hope I see you tonight.
See you tonight.
Yeah. All righty. Let's see.